The Everyday VOpreneur Summer Series is giving voice actors a chance to get one of their most pressing business and marketing questions answered live on the show. Every week in June, July, and August, I'll be taking questions from you, the Everyday VOpreneurs, and offering up my best advice, or at least doing my best to offer up my best advice. And this week, I'm welcoming onto the show Everyday VOpreneur Marco Rigazio. Did I get it right? Did I say it right?
Absolutely perfect. Most
All
people
right.
mess it up, but you did it great.
I tried. I'm sometimes not very good with names, so I always get excited when I got it right. So,
You
Marco,
must speak for a living.
maybe. So, tell me, what is your most pressing business and marketing question that you want to get answered?
Wow. Well, my main blockage here is, at least for now, when I'm prospecting for leads on Apollo.io or just Googling or whatever, is not getting distracted. I mean, I know it's not the most glamorous thing to do, and I don't know that anybody
No, it is
loves
not.
doing it.
Yep.
And I have a history in a past life. I was a power lifter, so I have a couple of, I don't know, phrases that I always kind of live by. One of them was discipline trumps motivation every day of the week.
Sure.
Right?
Yep. Good one.
And right. And embrace the suck. Right. So
I think that's very accurate to what we're discussing here.
yes, I mean, you have to. I had to focus on my weak points so I could get stronger when I went to compete. Not, you don't practice the things you're good at because that just satisfies your ego. That doesn't help you grow.
Yep.
So I have all of that in me, and I just kind of push through. But I find myself, especially if I'm looking through the internet for things like, oh, there's a squirrel. There's, I just kind of get distracted because maybe, I don't know. I don't know why.
There's a lot of fun things on the internet, let's be honest.
Yeah, so any tips or tricks or helpful pointers to move beyond just keep beating your head against the wall and you'll get it?
So I think the first question is it a motivation thing or is it a distraction thing?
Good question. This morning I was sitting here looking for leads, and I'm going through and I'm plugging along, but every 20 minutes or so, maybe, for example, if an email shows up and it goes ding, I go, oh, let me check the email. No, Marco, keep doing what you're doing.
Stay focused.
Stay focused. And it's just that, and I understand our minds are going to do this, and we just have to bring it back. And it's the constant practice of bringing it back. But I don't know. I just like, oh, look, there's my anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks, and I have to order something for her now, and I might as well do this now. It's just.
So I think it's probably a combination of both. So let's address both of those because I think maybe that will help you. So first, let's start with the distraction thing, which is totally real. The internet is a shiny place, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I have that same issue myself. And there was a study that was done on this, and I forget the exact number, but it's like 23 minutes or something like that. When we get distracted, if we have our focus and we get distracted, it takes something like 23 minutes to get ourselves lined up again and to get ourselves back in the zone. And so distract yourself enough times over the course of the day, and look, you're not going to get anything done if you're losing 20 minutes every single time. So one of the things that I have had to do for myself, and I'm an Apple guy, so this is an Apple thing. And if you're a Microsoft guy, I don't know if there's an option. I'm sure there is. But on Apple, I can set up what they call focuses. And so that allows me to turn off all of the notifications, the pings, etc., that I want for strategic software, contacts, etc. So, for example, when I go into my session focus, the only person that can get through to me, if anything happens while I'm in a session, I will get a text notification from my wife or my kids. That's it. No other app can go off. No other notification will pop up on my phone. Nothing will ping. Nothing will distract me. And just eliminating that in and of itself is a huge thing for me. because as soon as the ping hits, that's dopamine, right? And so then we start in this loop of dopamine and let's go satisfy the dopamine but then we're distracted and now we've lost our 23 minutes or whatever it is, right? And so setting up something like that. So putting it in your calendar as like non-negotiable time. I'm going to do this for an hour. I'm going to turn everything off, leave my phone in a different room if I need to leave my phone in a different room, whatever. But turning off the distractions by turning off all the notifications on your computer is a big one. And you just focus for that hour. And you'll find that, for me anyway, once I get into the groove, yes, getting into the groove is a challenge. But once I get into the groove, I don't have to try so hard anymore because I'm there. And I've reached that flow state. Cal Newport talks about the flow state in his book, Deep Work. And so I think that's number one is finding ways to eliminate those distractions. It's why I will, at certain times when I'm working on certain projects, like I will tell my wife, the kids can't come downstairs right now. Like I just need to be able, because if they come downstairs, I'm going to stop. And, you know, when the boo comes walking in, like, how do I not get distracted, right? Or my 10-year-old wants to come and tell me about her day or whatever. And so there's certain points where I'm just like, I just give me an hour. If you give me an hour, I can get it done type deal. So I think that's on the distraction side. I think on the motivation side, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, nobody gets excited about marketing, right? I'm guessing that is not the thing that propels you out of bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Yay, let's go send some emails. And so on that side of things, I think that's where I talk about you've got to have a why. There has to be a deeper driving factor for you. And that could look like a lot of things. Some people, me, I'm motivated by money. And I set goals and I set a why around that type of thing. Maybe it's that you're motivated by money. Maybe it's that you're motivated by credits and, you know, achieving certain clients or achieving certain types of jobs and being able to say that you got to that point that's going to be the thing for you. Maybe it's that you're motivated just by the creative outlet of being able to get into the studio and actually do the acting and do the recording, recognizing that some of this other stuff, the marketing and whatnot, has to happen to get you to that point. But the idea here is that you have a greater why. So an example of that for me this year, Canada went through some very, very strict restrictions and lockdowns during the pandemic, and it felt like they were never going to end. And travel was just not an enjoyable thing. And so my family and I haven't gone on a vacation since 2019. So this year I'm like, we're going on family vacation. We're doing it all. That has been my driver this year. Figuring out where we're going to go, sitting down with my wife, coming up with a budget of how much it's going to take to be able to do all the different things that we want to do, right? And so now I know I need to earn X in order to be able to go and do this vacation. So when I get up in the morning now, it's not, yay, let's go send some marketing emails. It's thinking about our trip, thinking about Tennessee, thinking about all the things that we're going to do, thinking about that cabin in the Smoky Mountains. It's focusing on that. I got pictures of it that I look at that remind me every day, this is what I'm working for. This is what the end goal is. This is why I'm here in the studio right now sending these marketing emails. And so I think that's the other side of it is if you're struggling to find the motivation, maybe it's because you haven't built a strong enough why into it, which is what's holding you back.
It's possible. I do, like I say, the motivation, I always felt that it's emotionally based and will wane. It will. It's going to. But it's the discipline that's going to take you through. Just
Absolutely.
Sit there and do it. I like the tip about focus on Mac. I'm also an Apple guy. And I'm going to look into that, see how...
You can customize those out completely, and it allows you to set what apps you can access or notifications you can get or what people in your contact list and all of that sort of stuff. And so I've got several different focuses that I've created for different parts of my day. But that one was a big one because, look, my inbox pings every 12 seconds. My Facebook pings every 12 seconds. My Instagram, my LinkedIn, like it never stops.
Right.
And if I allow myself to go off there every single time it happens, I never get anything done. And so that's where I think the other side of it is building time into your schedule, right? Building a block of time into your schedule. This is when I'm going to do my social media. Maybe it's a block in the morning, a block in the afternoon, right? So this is when I'm going to do it. So you know that you're still going to get to do it, address those things, answer those comments, respond to those pings or whatever.
Sure.
But it's not just a thing that happens off and on all throughout the day. There's strategy behind it because you're building your schedule accordingly. And that was something that I really needed to do because I got a lot of stuff going on. I live and die by my calendar and where my time blocks are and where my availability is. On the motivation side, you're 100% right. I mean, you can have the greatest driving why in the world, but it still requires discipline on my part, right? I mean, there are still days when I don't want to get up and, Kaylee's had a rough night and I've been up all night with her and I haven't slept and I'm like, I just want to sleep in. And there's still a discipline to, no, dude, get out of bed, go do the thing. But having that why makes the discipline a little bit easier, right? If I'm just disciplining myself, go find the stinking leads, that's not really right. But if I'm disciplining myself, this is your family vacation and, these leads mean the difference between getting to do that experience or not getting to do that experience. For me, that becomes a strong motivator and that gives me the discipline that I need to get my butt out of bed and go do the thing.
I try to granularize it. Is that a word?
It is now. We said it on the podcast, so that's it.
So
it's real.
I figure, and you've spoken to this point that a certain amount of emails, and it's been an old story, right? You reach out to a certain amount of people, you'll get a certain percentage response, you'll get a certain percentage this and that.
Yep.
And I try to keep that. I know it's just a generalized number, but I try to keep those numbers in my head. Like, okay, if I can send out 100 emails, I'll, on average, get 5 responses and maybe 1 job out of that. I don't know. I'm throwing numbers out.
Sure.
But I try to keep that in my head. Like, okay, I'm at 96. I'm at 97 now. And, then, of course, when I go over 100 and I still haven't gotten any responses, I'm like,
Having something that's measurable, though, that makes a difference, right? I mean, that's part of goal setting is having a goal that's measurable, right? If you just say, I want to contact more leads, well, if you contacted 1 today and you contact 2 tomorrow, then you contacted more leads. But that's not ultimately what's going to get you to where you need to go. And so having something that's measurable, that can be, and it's different people respond in different ways, right? For one person, that's the thing that's going to motivate them because I got to get to the 100, right? What was the story of Jerry Seinfeld putting the X on the wall or on the calendar for every day he told a joke and then never wanting to break the streak or writing a joke rather, and never wanting to break the streak. And so that became incredibly motivating. For one person, that is incredibly motivating. For somebody else, it ends up, becoming a weight that carries around them like a 100-pound chain around their neck or something and drags them down. So you do have to figure out what ultimately works for you. But there is definitely something to be said for having goals that you can measure up against to see, am I getting there? Am I doing that thing? And here's the other part. And for anybody that's starting out, it sucks more in the beginning. This is so motivating. It sucks more in the beginning because you haven't got the bookings yet. Once you get to the point where some bookings start to come in, when you land that first client as a result of your own marketing, and then you suddenly realize, okay, this does work. This can help me grow my business. That in and of itself becomes a level of motivation. And so there is probably, like you said earlier, the discipline side, right? There's probably even more discipline that is involved in the equation up until you start to get a couple of those bookings coming in and you start to see some evidence that, yeah, this works and this is gonna make a difference in my business.
Yeah, very good. Very good stuff there, Mark. Appreciate it. I appreciate the help. I appreciate you being there in your Facebook groups every time we come up with a question, and appreciate you being at VO Atlanta just to sit there and have coffee with and everything. So it was just wonderful. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Absolutely, man. I was so excited to be back at VO Atlanta. Like I said, I've been missing travel hard, so to be able to get there, see people hang out, eat lunch, whatever. It was so much fun. So yeah. I hope
I already bought my ticket for next year. So.
Oh, you're ready to go. There you go.
Ready.
That's awesome, man. Well, I hope this has been helpful for you and let me know about the focus thing. If you figure that out and whether or not that makes a difference to help you to stay from getting distracted because I understand the pursuit of the squirrel.
I absolutely will, Mark. Thank you so much.